notion of both and, right? Doesn't exist or can't exist in nature, right? Like feminist philosophers will start to ask questions about, well, is that true? Does that represent a universal experience? This notion of the excluded middle, right?
Hmm.
That kind of manifests as us not some of us not being able to process the idea of somebody who's transsexual or
Hmm.
transgendered or the notion of many genders, right?
Yeah.
And so there's this idea that uh, that the historical context you're in and the different power dynamics and power relationships, influence some of the questions and the sense of the foundation of thinking and reality that that you're likely to go forth from, right? Where like if you're an ancient philosopher in ancient Greece, given the historical context of that time, you're going to ask different questions. Whereas if you're like a feminist, gay philosopher in the 20th century, that kind of is looking back at the historical foundations of patriarchy and all that type of stuff, is going to cause you to ask different questions, and that and that historical context and the power dynamics are going to influence what it is that what conclusions you come to.
Yeah.
So from a standpoint of psychology, I think that remains true as well. If you're somebody like Freud, and you live kind of in a Victorian era where on the surface of things there's like a lot of sexual repression, um, you know, and that type of stuff, right? Like you're going to start to, if you think deeply enough about it, you're going to start to observe, how things kind of can reflect some of those Victorian type values, and start to question, how does that affect people's psychology, from a
Mm.
foundational basis, it, it, you know, uh, or if you're Karl Marx and you're living, in Germany,